Welcome to another episode of Office Hours, the recap, where we go a little deeper into the discussion that we had in our Discord room over on ChatbotBuilder.ai. Let's get started.
Okay, here we go. We're diving straight into some really practical stuff today. We've got notes, recaps from recent AI bot building mastermind sessions. These are from people, actually doing the work.
That's right. This isn't the polished version you see in tutorials. This is the messy middle, isn't it? The bugs, the things that don't work, the aha moments when you finally figure something out. It's raw.
Exactly. So our mission really is to pull out the gold from these notes. If you're building bots or thinking about it, what are the real problems people hit? And crucially, what are the fixes?
Yeah, what did they actually learn by banging their heads against the wall?
Right. We'll get into, bots acting weird, why tutorials aren't always enough, platform quirks, and managing your time with all this fast-moving tech. Plus some pretty clever ways folks are using AI for business development.
It's straight from the trenches. This is going to be useful.
Okay, let's unpack this. First up, a really common one. Troubleshooting, bots acting strangely. Kim had this issue, right? Her business bot, she added phone stuff, and bam, random phrases, pulling in old flows. Total chaos.
Yeah, that kind of thing. It's usually not random, though. It feels random, but there's often a cause. They talked about accounts getting bogged down. Too much old stuff. Exactly. Old test flows, maybe duplicate agents you forgot you made, just digital clutter. It confuses the bot's logic, basically. It doesn't know which instructions to follow anymore.
Okay, that makes sense. Like a messy desk, but for AI.
And there was a specific technical bit, too. The phone bot welcome message worked fine. But the default reply, the fallback, it just failed. Nothing.
Right, and Diana jumped in there. She does a lot of multi-channel stuff.
Yeah.
And her point was critical. The order you do things in that default reply flow is everything, especially for voice.
Okay, so what's the magic order? You absolutely have to check the channel first. Is this call coming from the voice bot? Check that. Then and only then do you apply your message checker or tag analysis or whatever else.
Because if you try to check for, say, a button click on a voice call,
it breaks.
No.
Exactly. The logic fails, maybe silently, and you're left wondering why it's not working. Don't check the channel since you're asking for trouble.
Got it. Check channel, then check message content.
Yeah.
And Kim also realized her default reply was just too much.
Yeah, way too complex, trying to do too many things in one place. So, the takeaways here for you are pretty clear. First, account hygiene. Seriously, clean out old tasks, old agents. Tidy up. Regularly. Second, default reply order. Channel first, always. Especially if you've got voice involved.
Channel first, okay.
And third, simplify that default logic. If it's getting complicated, break it out. Have the default reply direct traffic to smaller dedicated flows. Don't try to cram everything in there.
Keeping your workspace clean before you start a big project, right? Foundational.
Precisely. It's environment management as much as code.
Okay, that actually leads nicely into this broader theme that kept coming up. The learning process itself. Everyone agreed tutorials only get you so far.
Oh yeah, they called it time in the trenches. You watch a tutorial, build a simple little flow, maybe a message checker, great. But the real learning curve kicks in when you try to plug that shiny new flow into your existing complex bot.
The one that already has 50 other flows and knows a bunch of stuff about the user.
Exactly. You can't just copy paste that message checker you built. Maybe your bot already got the user's email 5 steps ago. Your new checker needs to be smart enough not to ask again. It needs context.
Right. You have to adapt it based on where you are in the conversation. So it's less about following instructions and more about
understanding the why. Understanding the logic underneath. It's like going from following a recipe to actually knowing how to cook, how to adapt, how to substitute.
So for anyone listening who's feeling frustrated, they hit a wall after the tutorials, that's normal.
Totally normal. It's part of it. So embrace the breaking things phase. Trial and error is the process. Fixing stuff is where you really learn.
And remember that context matters hugely.
Yeah.
Adapt any pre-built stuff to fit your bot, your conversation flow. Don't make the user repeat themselves.
Please don't. And finally, go beyond just watching. You have to dedicate time to just tinkering, playing around, break things on purpose sometimes, see how components interact. That active experimentation is key.
It really is like practicing scales on an instrument, isn't it? You just got to put the time in.
You do. You absolutely do.
Okay, speaking of complex things, appointment scheduling over the phone. That sounded like a real headache zone.
Oh, it was. It highlighted just how much trickier voice makes things compared to text. People were running into all sorts of weird inconsistencies.
Like what? Beyond just the bot logic.
Well, even basic infrastructure stuff, like their Twilio accounts getting suspended randomly, forcing them to create new trial accounts just to test things while waiting for support. Imagine trying to build when the platform itself is shaky.
Ugh, that's rough. Battling the tools just to build the thing? And the booking flows themselves were failing.
Yeah, bots would collect all the user's info, seem ready to book, and then just hang up. Or they'd book something, but it wasn't the slot the user asked for.
Why would it do that?
A big culprit seemed to be the availability check. Sometimes the bot seemed to remember old test conversations with the same phone number, so it might offer a slot that was free during a test yesterday but isn't actually free now. Stale data.
Okay, so memory issues, essentially.
Yeah.
How did they suggest getting around that? What were the fixes?
One really solid idea was creating a separate, dedicated function just for checking availability. Nothing else.
Isolate it.
Exactly. This function's only job is to get the current date and time, maybe the date and time, plus 7 days, format it precisely like an epoch seconds, and pass only that clean current time window to the AI or the calendar API. No conversational history, just the facts.
Feed the AI clean current data for that specific check. Makes sense. What else?
Simplify the instructions to the AI during booking. Strip out all the extra stuff, the prompts about sounding friendly or using humor. Just give it the requested time slot and tell it. Confirm this is available based on the data provided, or suggest alternatives. Pure function.
Laser focus for the AI's task.
Yep. And third, especially for voice, where, let's face it, interactive buttons can be iffy, move away from trying to get the AI to trigger a book now button. Instead, use API-driven flows.
So the AI confirms the slot, user says yes.
And boom, you trigger a separate flow that talks directly to the Google Calendar API or Outlook API and writes the appointment.
Yeah.
Bypass the conversational AI for that final critical step. Much more reliable.
Use the right tool for the job. APIs for transactions. Okay. And testing this beast. How do you test reliably with those memory issues?
Constant vigilance. Purge or reset your test data often. Use a dedicated test number if you can. And critically manually clear out any appointments you created in your calendar during previous tests before you start a new test run.
Clean slate every time.
Every single time. You have to. It really shows the complexity of multi-channel stuff. And it does raise that question. How do you manage building when the platforms themselves are moving targets?
Yeah, exactly. Which takes us right into navigating platform evolution. Randolph had questions about PayMeGPT, remember? The terminology was confusing GPTs there versus custom GPTs in ChatGPT. What's an agent?
Totally. It's easy to get lost in the jargon, especially when platforms are shifting. Kim helped clarify PayMeGPT's direction. It started maybe more like a simple paywall for selling bot flows or templates.
Like an Etsy for bots.
Sort of, yeah. But it's evolving. The vision now is more towards enabling users to build and sell mini-sauce products, like packaging a suite of related AI tools or custom GPTs together and selling access via a membership.
Okay, so a bigger vision. Less about single assets, more about bundled solutions you can sell access to.
Right. And that reflects broader trends, like this move towards agentic AI systems AI that can break down tasks and work more autonomously. Ryan, the developer, is iterating fast to incorporate things like that.
Which means if you're building on it, especially in beta,
you got to be ready for change. Features might shift, things might occasionally break or get reset as he stabilizes things. It's the reality of beta testing. People like Charles are actively finding bugs and giving that feedback.
So it's a collaboration in a way. Key things for listeners to keep in mind here. Understand PayMeGPT is aiming for that sellable AI suite model.
Yep. And recognize that this agentic AI stuff is becoming a big trend everywhere.
Be prepared for a dynamic environment. If you're beta testing, things change. But your input matters.
Definitely. And maybe most importantly, clarify your terms. If you're talking to clients, don't assume they know what you mean by GPT or agent. Explain it clearly.
Good point. You're building on shifting sands, so clear communication is vital.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, let's pivot a bit from the tech to the human side. Time management, focus. This seemed to hit home for everyone, that rabbit hole effect.
Oh man, yes. You start looking up one little thing and suddenly it's 3 hours later, you've got 20 browser tabs open about new AI tools and you haven't done the thing you meant to do.
Happens to the best of us. And the sheer volume of new stuff makes it hard to prioritize, right? People mention getting bored easily with the less exciting tasks too.
Absolutely. So the conversation really turned to discipline. How do you force yourself to focus on RGAs, revenue-generating activities?
Instead of just playing with a cool new AI toy.
Exactly. As fun as that is, some really practical strategies came out, like setting strict time limits. I will only spend 90 minutes exploring this, then I stop.
Setting boundaries with yourself.
Yes. And scheduling the money-making work first. Kim's One Thing Monday idea was brilliant.
Remind us.
Pick the single most important task for the week for your business, for a client, and commit to making progress on that specific thing every single day before you touch anything else.
I love that. So simple, so powerful. What else worked?
Accountability partners. Having someone, a peer, a group you check in with. Just knowing you have to report what you did or didn't do helps keep you on track.
Yeah, that external pressure can be good.
And finally, regular reflection. Like end of the day, end of the week, asking yourself, what did I actually accomplish that moved the needle? Be honest.
These are solid productivity habits in general, but maybe even more critical with AI because it changes so fast.
I think so. The temptation to just explore is constant. So for you listening, time block. Seriously. Learning time, client time, prospecting time, put on the calendar.
Set those boundaries between play and focused work.
Do the RGAs first. Schedule them.
Try that One Thing Monday idea. Identify your key task.
Find an accountability buddy or group.
Right.
And reflect weekly. Did you do what you planned? Adjust if needed.
Structure and discipline. Not sexy, but essential.
They really are. You're best friends in this game.
Okay, so let's circle back to putting AI to work.
Yeah.
How are people using bots, GPTs, for their own stuff? Marketing, business development.
Yeah, some cool practical uses came up. Content creation was a big one. Using custom GPTs, they had nicknames like Benny or Monday.
Okay.
Not just to write stuff for them, but to help them draft it in their own voice.
How's that different?
It's more conversational. Instead of one prompt like, write a blog post about X, they'd sort of talk to their custom GPT daily or weekly, feed it ideas, correct its tone, refine points, like coaching it to sound like them.
Ah, so it learns their style over time through interaction.
Exactly. And then once they had a good draft from that conversation, they'd use that draft as the source material to quickly spin off other content, social media snippets, image ideas, email copy.
Smart. Everything stays consistent because it came from that core coached piece.
Precisely. It's efficient, but you keep your authentic voice. And related to that was the idea of building a daily AI habit.
Just use it every day.
Even for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
Open ChatGPT or whatever tool you like. Try generating one social post idea. Create one image prompt. Look at one new integration. Just a tiny, consistent touch point.
Why is that so important?
It stops your skills getting rusty. It keeps you comfortable with the interfaces as they inevitably change. It lowers the barrier to using it for bigger tasks when you need to. Just keeps it familiar.
Like daily exercise for your AI muscles.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And community focus.
Yeah, big one. Don't scatter yourself thin across 10 different Discord servers and Facebook groups. Pick one main community school as mentioned as a good platform for structure and really commit to engaging there.
Why just one?
You get answers faster because people know you. You build real relationships. You get much more value than spreading yourself too thin. Focus your energy.
Okay, focus. And then Diana's prospecting example at that event. That sounded really clever.
It was brilliant. She built a custom demo bot specifically for the keynote speaker, used his content to build a knowledge base, created his avatar, even cloned his voice.
Whoa, voice cloning. Ethically.
Yes, crucially, with his full explicit consent beforehand. Very important point.
Okay, good. So a super personalized demo. How'd you deliver it?
This was the cool part. She put the demo access onto an NFC chip. Like on a little card or sticker, she could just tap it to his phone and boom, there's the bot, looking and sounding like him, ready to answer questions about his program.
Wow. That's way more impactful than just sending a link. That tangible element.
Huge wow factor. He was apparently blown away. Led directly to a proper follow-up meeting. She even suggested offering it as an event bot service for future gigs.
Genius. And it turned out he saw uses for it internally too, right? Not just for event attendees.
Exactly. Which shows, sometimes the solution you build has applications you didn't even initially think of. So takeaways here for practical application.
Use GPTs as drafting partners for content. Keep your voice.
Build that daily AI habit, even just 5 minutes.
Focus your community engagement. Pick one main place.
Create killer personalized demos for key prospects.
Think about tangible delivery, NFC, QR codes. Make it memorable.
Leverage events to showcase what you can do.
And look beyond the obvious use case. Could this help internally too?
It just shows AI isn't just a building block, it's a business development tool in itself, especially if you're creative.
We definitely need to touch on those ethics and bug points briefly. The voice cloning, the absolute key was consent.
Right. Absolutely paramount. Diana did it for the speaker, with his permission. There was a quick mention of laws evolving, like the Take It Down Act for harmful deepfakes, but the tech is usually ahead of legislation. The bottom line from the discussion was, personal integrity guides you. Just because AI can do something.
Doesn't mean you should. Ethics first. Get consent.
Always. Especially with personal data like voice or image, your reputation depends on it.
And quickly on the tech bugs, these sound like common frustrations.
Bruh.
The double avatar in the chat widget.
Yeah, weird visual glitches, or Facebook flows just stopping, or finding out your carefully crafted flow somehow defaulted back to an older, weaker AI model like GPT 4.0 mini instead of the, nano or whatever you'd selected.
Ugh, annoying. Any quick fixes suggested?
Sometimes workarounds emerge, like not setting the avatar in the widget settings might fix the double avatar, but bugs can be inconsistent. The general advice was solid troubleshooting practice. Double check your settings, especially the AI model.
Don't assume it's stuck.
Right. Simplify the flow to isolate where it's breaking. Check the community or others seeing this. Report persistent bugs to the platform. And again, clear your cache, clear your test data. Sometimes it's just weird statefulness.
Standard debugging, but essential. So, ethics first, get consent, report bugs, check settings, isolate errors, ask the community, clear your data.
Pretty much, it's just part of working on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
Stay aware, be systematic.
Wow. Okay, that really was a deep dive into the nitty-gritty of building AI bots today. We went from weird bugs and learning curves right through to platform shifts, managing your own focus, and some seriously cool prospecting ideas.
Yeah, it's clear from these frontline reports that it's about way more than just knowing the tech specs. It's about practical problem solving, discipline, and creative application.
Totally. The big things that stick out are keep your build environment clean, that account hygiene matters. Get the logic order right, especially in default replies. Embrace the messy learning process. That's where the real skill develops.
Use robust tools like APIs for critical tasks, like booking. Be super disciplined with your time. Fight that rabbit hole.
Make your demos personal and memorable. Build that daily AI muscle memory. Focus your community efforts and always lead with ethics and stay alert for those platform quirks.
It's this blend, isn't it? Technical craft, strategic thinking, personal management, and creative spark. That's what seems to define successful bot building right now.
So as we wrap up, maybe something for you, the listener, to chew on. Based on everything we unpacked today, all those real-world lessons, what's the one single habit or tactic, big or small, that you're going to consciously implement this week to push your own AI journey forward? Maybe it's scheduling that focus time. Maybe it's trying that one thing Monday. Maybe it's just committing to that 5-minute daily AI check-in. What's your one thing?
That wraps up another discussion on the office hours recap. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And as always, come on over and join us in the Discord room every week live at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. See you next week.